from Pickles Gap, Arkansas, it's the Birdy Shack with your host, Mr. Shay.
Oh, welcome to the Birdy Shack. Woo-wee! We got some mighty fine birds for you today. Come on over. Let's see what's behind this door.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
I think we ought to check this one here too.
Those birds together is
Hey now, I think we've got something here. Yes, I think we do. Welcome to the art room. I'm really glad you could make it today. Today's episode is all about building a bird. We'll use a little bit of clay. We'll use a wood block and some pencils if you have them. If you don't, I'll show you some other ways to go, and some feathers. So get ready to have some fun. Let's get back to the art room so we can start building ours. Okay, welcome back to the art room for our bird project. And oh, come on, Birdy Shack, really, I think, Mr. Shay, you're absolutely losing it here. I don't know. What's next? Who knows? But anyway, here's our bird. I just love making this bird project in the art room. Ages were usually, I think, 3rd grade up to 5th grade, or maybe 6th grade, and I think we might have stretched it a little bit lower one time at 2nd grade one year, and it worked out just fine. So really quite easy to do and a lot of fun. And if you're an art teacher out there and you need something spectacular for your art show, we used to set these out at the art show night on the tables, and just imagine 75 to 100 of these little guys out there all standing proudly, all these cool birds that we made. And we're all different and really fun. So let's talk about what we're going to need supply-wise. We'll just set Birdy out of the way there for a minute. First of all, we've got some air-dry clay from Crayola. You're going to need some kind of a base, and if you've got an adult around that has maybe some wood out in the garage or somewhere, usually there's a couple of pieces of wood around the house that you can grab. This is just a little chunk of what you would call a 2x4, and maybe one of the adults can help you, or if you're old enough, to cut a piece of it off. And as you can see, I love to, mine aren't ever straight, so that's, here we go again. Also, an electric drill would be helpful later on, and once again, you might want to get an adult to help you with that part of it too. But it's kind of a necessary part to drill the holes. And then some old pencils, if you have any old pencils that are broken, or maybe colored pencils, we need those for the legs. And a little piece of styrofoam, like an egg carton, and we'll show you how that goes. That's how I made his feet sticking out here, just by cutting those out. If you want some eyes, these are some really cool eyes that I found at the art supply store, and they really kind of set the whole bird off. Not to say that you couldn't just paint the eyes on, but I just think those eyes are so neat. And finally then, a bag of feathers. And these were not too expensive. I got these at Hobby Lobby, and I think you can see the price, $2.79. Not too bad, and I got enough to do a whole bunch of birds and other things in the art room I'm sure will come up that we want to use feathers with. So let's get started. I'm going to take my clay out of here. This is the Crayola air dry clay. Great stuff. And we'll dig out a kind of a small baked potato kind of lump of it here. Okay, like that. Let's see, a little bit more maybe. So if you buy this, you should have enough to do, oh gosh, 5 or 6 birds probably, if you have more than one person at home that wants to do this. So once again, air dry clay from Crayola. Set that out of the way. I've also got a little cereal bowl full of water to get my fingers wet in. That'll probably, my clay will kind of dry out after a bit. and a roll of paper towels to wipe up with. And hey, do Mom a favor, or do anybody a favor at home, lay something down on the table so you don't get clay all over the place. Okay, so first thing we'll do, I'm going to take my clay and roll it into a kind of a nice smooth ball, like that. Get it nice and smooth. Okay, and then once it's a ball, then I'm going to try to take the ball and make more of a long shape on one side, kind of a pear, and then a long shape as well on the other side, kind of rolling it out like that. Oh, neat. Okay. All right, well, you can almost see a bird there right now, so I'm not going to get too complicated. I'm going to bend his, make kind of a cool tail area there for him. And in this part, I'm going to have to make some decisions about where his neck is going to go, how long a neck I want. Is he kind of a flamingo guy? Is he a duck? Is he a, you know, a blue jay, robin, whatever? Or is he just kind of a fantasy bird? That's the way I like to do it. Just don't even worry about making a real bird. Just kind of make up your own. Hey, we're in the art room, right? Okay, so I'm bending up that neck, and then let's bend that part down. Okay, and here's where we start to mold his beak a little. Okay, I'm going to make a few decisions about how long a beak and how pointy I want my beak, like that. And also, do I want to turn his head one way or the other? Is he looking one way or the other? I think I'm going to do that this time. I didn't do that on my first bird. Kind of like that idea. Just kind of bend it that way, like that. Oh, that's great. Now, some other things I can do is I can bring my finger in here on the side and kind of make a wing indent. And I'm kind of making some neat little details in his body here with kind of a side part of his wing, like that. Now later on we'll add lots and lots of feathers and things to make our bird look really spectacular. Okay, I'm going to keep it pretty simple there. All right, well, that was easy enough. Let's get our pencils then. And I'm going to take my base here that I've got. This is my little wooden base. And what I want to try to do now is calculate where he's going to be standing on his base. So with my pencil, I'm going to kind of dip that into some water. I'm going to kind of figure out where on his body I want his legs to project out from, like right about there. Okay, and I'm gonna just sort of bore a hole in there like that. Okay, make it a little bigger. Better to be a little bigger than smaller. Okay, and okay, is that gonna? Oh, that's gonna be great. And then I'm gonna figure out the other leg hole here, leg opening for his other leg. And I'll watch what's happening up here on top, though. Sometimes you can go right up through his back. That's not a good thing. Now, time for both pencils here. And let's see, the angle of his legs. I'm going to kind of determine that. Those legs are way too big, of course. So for a minute. I'm going to make these legs a little shorter. Stick them in there like that. Okay, and will that, yeah, that's going to be a doable angle that I can work on my base. I don't want my legs to be, the leg holes to be spread out so far that they won't fit on the base there, if you know what I mean. But these aren't the finished legs, so right now they're just going to be posing as things to hold my bird leg openings. Okay, so there we go. We're doing pretty well. Let's get the other bird and see how we're doing by comparison. Yeah, we're doing pretty well. We've got him up on his legs, and this clay is gonna take about 2 days to dry. That's always the bother. So in the art room, though, it was kind of nice because we only had a half-hour art project, sometimes 40 minutes. And then by the time I saw them again, there were 3 days had gone by and our birds were good to go and we were ready to move on to the next step. Okay, so we're going to find a good place for that bird to dry, and I will see you back here again in 3 days. Okay, so we've let our bird dry for a couple of days, and actually I put him next to the little air register in the house, and that kind of helped him dry out a little bit. A little tip, if you can get him next to, you know, where the hot air comes out from the furnace, that'll help him along. So what I'm going to do next is get my wood block, and it's time to figure out where his legs go into the wood block. So you can hear my cat back there. There's Miss Lily again. So I've just got my temporary pencils in here, and what I'm going to do is take my wood block and figure out where I want my bird to stand here. And he doesn't have to stand, you know, straight or parallel or anything. And what I'm going to do then is take my pencil and make some markings here. Let's see, right about there for his left leg. Right there, make a little mark like that. And for his right leg then, I'll stick that right there. And you've got some adjustability. Okay, so got a couple of marks, and so here's that drill we were telling you about at the beginning. So I'm going to see if I can drill a couple of holes there. I'm going to put them in a little bit of an outward angle because my legs are going in a little bit of an outward angle, and just see how this goes here. Okay. Yeah, that might be deep enough. Let's do this one. I'm trying to stick that kind of an outward angle going here. And okay, get that out of there. All right. Okay, so into the glue bottle now. I just squirt a little bit into the openings in our wood block. Okay, very good. And I'm going to do the best I can to force that pencil down into the hole there, make it kind of sturdy. We can change it a little bit later if we want to, change the angle of it while it dries, but I just want to get those pencils rooted in there so that I know they're deep enough and my bird's going to stand up well. So we'll grab the bird and be kind of careful at this point that you don't try to stretch the openings in the bird itself that you made with the pencil. I'm just kind of positioning that back and forth, trying to get that to stand up and make sure that the openings are good. And then I'm going to put a little glue on top of my pencils and up inside the body of the bird we go. And I'm just going to let that dry. Okay, next I'm going to be making some little feet for our bird here. I love this part. It's just a piece of an egg carton that I went and got up out of the refrigerator. And I'm going to cut a couple of squares out of it that are similar in shape. And then my plan is to make each one of these squares into more of a foot shape that a bird would have. Okay, kind of imagine that as a little paddle foot there. It might be a little big, but we'll see what it looks like. We can always cut it down smaller. So I've got a couple of nice little feet things ready to go here. Let's see, is that going to be too big of a foot? Yeah, it's going to be too big. So I'm going to chop that down just a little bit, more like that, and more like that. Just have some fun with it. So it doesn't make a very effective foot unless I cut some toes. So I'll use the white side, of course, because I want to paint this. I'll cut a couple of toe shapes out of my little bit of styrofoam like that. Let's see, maybe make that last one a little bit pointier there. Is that going to work? Oh yeah, like that. I like that. And I'll make the other one the same. Yeah, just have some fun with it. He's He's our fantasy bird. He's cool, from the Birdy Shack. Yes, sirree. And so he fits into the pencil a bit better. I'll take a second to cut an oval shape indent there, like that. And let's see here, like that. Okay, and let's get out our Elmer's glue again and just stick those down. Okay, foot number 1 in place. You see that? And foot number 2. Okay. He's great. He's great. Okay, hey, we're at my favorite part where we get to use some paint. And if you watched our last episode, it's kind of important that you have your students or your children pick out just a few basic colors, as I have here. If we get too many colors on at the beginning, it might muddy things up for them, but here I go, just having a great time working my way down. I thought, hey, I'd do a blue bird body this time. I just love blue. And I've already got his legs and our little feet painted. And I'm just working my way right down the whole body, trying to get a nice coverage of our acrylic paint right in there. And let's see how we look compared to the other bird. Oh yeah, I like the way he's turning out, our new guy. So onward we go here. I'm going to get some more yellow on my brush and go at his beak this time, kind of get that all covered in, and right into the reddish orange. Ooh, I like the way that looks with, he's got kind of a woodpecker kind of a thing so far. So have fun with that part. I just love the painting part. Our bird is really coming alive now. And oh, don't forget red toenails. Okay, hey, we're coming down the home stretch. I've got my low temperature glue gun going here, and I'm going to stick my eyes on that I showed you before. Well, they look great. And after that, let's see, reaching for my feather bag. I'm going to pick out some kind of key feathers. I'm going to rip a little bit of this orange one off and kind of put a little dollop on his head here and use it as sort of a little hairdo. Oh yeah, that looks good. And how about another little chunk just to kind of fill out his head there a little bit. Let's see, how's that? Oh, that's great. Into the feather bag, and how about a couple of wings? Yeah, they're kind of neat and curly, magenta looking wings. And let's see, how about a tail on the back? Might be nice. Oh yeah. And oh, that just looks terrific. Okay, that's going to wrap things up for today's episode. Thanks for coming along with us today. And remember, no matter where you go, no matter what you do, you've got something to be proud of. You're an artist. So stick with it. And we'll see you back here next time in Mr. Shay's Art Room.